This enchanting table is a few bookshelves short of being able to fully enchant our gear. So today we're going to have to head out looking for some paper, leather, or just straight books. Luckily, we did come across this village a bit west of our starting base last time, and we're able to get most of the books we need from here. Hey folks, this is Tully and welcome to a return to Minecraft. Last time we left off, we got ourselves an experience farm set up, but now we need to be able to enchant our gear with that experience that we're getting. Here, I did come across a abandoned village and proceeded to get a number of crafting tables. Normally, I don't like damaging villages because I like the idea of the villagers having their homes be intact. But for an abandoned one, it's a good opportunity to get a couple of different workbenches that I just haven't crafted yet. That abandoned village was also just to the west of this village we had found a while ago too. Heading back to our base, we did find that we only need 5 more leather and we would have enough bookshelves to be able to get level 30 enchants. Weirdly though, I've been having a hard time finding many animals. I don't know if it's just because we're in this like frozen biome area, but just not finding much leather at all. We did come across this igloo while we were exploring, and it did have another secret basement. Again, seems to be a tutorial on curing zombie villagers, but this time I figured I might as well grab this brewing stand, but we accidentally released this little creature from the wall. Luckily, the water makes this somewhat trivial, and it doesn't seem that dangerous. But it doesn't feel right to leave this place flooded, even if we're not going to save the villagers right now. So we're just going to like seal this back up. However, this cauldron might come in handy, so we'll grab that. And maybe we'll come back for these villagers later. Continuing onwards, we did come across this like mossy cave beneath some snowy peaks. This is pretty far to the north of our starting base, so I figured I might as well grab a bit of this moss, and I did chop down 1 golden berry from one of these vines. I tried planting it to see if we could grow more, but it doesn't look like it's a plantable crop. So if we need more of these, we can always come back. Although, I'm not really sure what these golden berries are good for. Maybe they're just food. Regardless, heading back towards our base, we did come across this tower. This is the same one we saw, I think, 2 parts ago, and I figured might as well check this to see if it has any good loot. We only have to take out a couple of these pillagers on the way up, and it's not too bad, but unfortunately, when we reached the top here, this chest didn't really have anything of value, just an experience pot and a horn that makes a sound effect. I'm not sure if that has any extra functionality. However, coming down here, I did end up finding these cages and this little guy floating around. I've seen him in videos before. Oh, well, we gotta make sure that we don't get killed by this pillager in this powdered snow, but I think this little blue friend can pick up items for us. So I tried giving him some bread, but he doesn't seem interested in it. And more of these pillagers show up, and with his enchanted crossbow, he breaks my shield, which I think was already pretty weak, but now there's 2 of them. So seems better to just retreat and try and get some health back. But they are persistent. Might be better just to try and run away. And this little guy doesn't seem to want to be our friend. Oh, and that takes care of the pillagers. Eventually, I do realize that it seems like it's not just throwing the bread at him that makes him friendly. It seems like we have to hand him the item with a right click. And after that, he was more willing to follow us. So I figured I'd take him back to base, and using some of the slime that we had found a while ago, I was able to make this lead and keep him safe. Heading into this village near our starting base, I thought I would try and get some leather from a leather working villager, but it didn't seem like they wanted to sell it, only buy it. So I headed to the south here, a direction we hadn't really explored yet, and eventually did come across this little patch with a ton of animals in it, and finally found some cows willing to drop some leather for us. And this got us enough leather, but I did see another tower over in the distance, and again, nothing really of note here, but might as well grab all the loot we can find. Although these pillagers are quite persistent, and it seemed like there was only one way to escape. Heading back to our base, again we come across another igloo. I quickly run down, grab everything in there, and then finally we can head back and start enchanting our gear. Setting up all the enchanting tables and also a grindstone allowed us to be able to start enchanting a couple of our swords and the diamond pick we already had. We did manage to get Fortune 3 and Unbreaking and Efficiency, which means it's probably time that we go back down into this abandoned mineshaft area. These tunnels are probably a good place to find diamonds, was my thinking. And honestly, pick up any ore we can now that we have Fortune. It'll make it so we can get a lot much more quickly. And heading back up, do find a lucky single piece of diamond, which ends up being a couple, which is quite nice. As we were exploring these mine shafts, though, I did run into the spot where I was hearing a zombie growling in the walls, and when I turned on subtitles, I could see that the growls were flipping left and right pretty quickly, so I thought I would try digging up and couldn't find anything in that direction. So maybe the zombies below us was my thinking. And as I started digging down here, eventually I came across some bricks that were a different kind of texture. And turns out we have stumbled across our first geode, which I'm pretty happy about because although the XP farm doesn't require these, I think it looks a lot better when we have tinted glass. It also allows me to see if it's actually spawning all the skeletons properly. We also see one piece of diamond, but this one turns out to be, I think, 2 different groupings, because there's like 6 that we get from here. And then I do try and pick up a bunch of these tracks. I don't really have any plans for them, but I thought they might be good to have just in case. And then another 4 diamonds here, and that's pretty much all we found in here. Not as much as I was hoping for. There was one last thing I wanted to check out, though. Down at the end of this tunnel, this looks like the deep dark kind of bricks, and I think those are some skulk sensors. I'd like to kind of pick one of these up because I know they work as like a kind of wireless redstone or something, but doesn't look like the fortune pick was the way. Might have needed silk touch. And this skulk sensor clicked, but I'm not seeing a warden show up. I've never been in this biome before, so I don't fully know how it works, but it seems like we're safe here, and these bricks are giving us experience. I was kind of hoping that maybe this was like a full-on like city area, because I've never died to a warden before, and that could be fun. But it seems like this is just a weird little area that got spawned at the end of this tunnel. Like, maybe there's something further behind these walls, but digging around here a little bit, it doesn't really look like it. Regardless, we did get a large amount of diamonds. So replacing some of these bricks and the dirt with some tinted glass makes it much more easy to see that the skeleton spawner is actually working. But in replacing some of these lower blocks, I did break the signs that made the elevator work. So I did have to come in here and do a bit of a repair. Almost died, and totally didn't die to my water elevator. But it wasn't too bad to kind of get the signs back in here and then quickly get rid of all the torches and see that everything's operational. We did get enough diamonds to make ourselves a full set of diamond armor, and I did get at least a base level enchant on every piece, but we will probably need to get a villager for a Book of Mending at some point in the future. Next time, we'll probably take all this gear and head into the Nether and see if we can find some blaze rods. But for now, this will be Tolhi signing out. Later, folks.